Over the years, some TV shows created some of the most intense same-sex chemistry, without actually meaning to do so. These shows aren't really LGBTQ+ stories, but somewhere along the line, the emotional intimacy, the framing of the story, and the performances by the actors combined into something bigger than what was on page. In this video, we're taking a look at the top 10 TV shows that got a little bit gayer as time went on. I just want to say special thanks to my Patreon members for supporting me on Patreon. If you don't know, I do have a Patreon page where I show you stuff that I cannot show you on YouTube, like behind the scenes, extended cuts, and so on. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link to my Patreon page in the description of this video. Now, let's head over towards the rainbow and follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
We are the future, Clark. And I don't want anything to stand in the way of our friendship.
Smallville began as a superhero origin story, but in its early seasons, the emotional core of the show was a relationship between Clark Kent and Lex Luthor. Their connection was written as a friendship slowly turning into a rivalry, but the intensity of their scenes often told a different story. Long conversations in dimly lit rooms, emotional confrontations about trust and betrayal, and repeated emphasis on how deeply they understood one another. For many viewers, Clark and Lex felt less like future enemies and more like people locked in a relationship that was always on the verge of collapse. It wasn't an intentional romance, but it was definitely impossible to miss.
You flirted with Sherlock Holmes.
At him. You jealous?
We're not a couple.
Yes, you are.
When the BBC launched Sherlock, it leaned heavily into the clever writing and fast-paced mystery. What it may not have anticipated was just how much attention viewers would pay to the dynamic relationship between Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. The show constantly acknowledged the possibility of them being perceived as a couple, sometimes as a joke, sometimes as a misunderstanding, but the emotional framing rarely matched the humor. Moments of loyalty, vulnerability, and devotion were shot and scored with genuine weight. Even without a romantic payoff, the tension became one of the most talked about elements of the series, especially online. The show may have thought that it was clever, but the audience saw something deeper.
What?
That's Hostel 17.
No, I'm just a friend of Xander's.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer is remembered for blending humor, horror, and emotional storytelling, but it also excelled at creating unexpected character dynamics. Xander and Spike were never meant to be anything more than uneasy allies and occasional rivals. Yet, their interactions were filled with sharp banter, emotional reactions, and a strange sense of fascination with one another. The show never treated this as romantic, but the tension in certain scenes went well beyond simple antagonism. It became another example of how strong performances can push a relationship into unexpected territory.
I love you, Fraser.
And are you ready?
Due South was a crime drama from the 90s that developed a devoted following long before online fandoms were mainstream. The relationship between Fraser and Ray was written as an unusual level of emotional intimacy, expressed through body language, dialogue, and storytelling choices that consistently emphasized their bond. The show never framed this as romantic, but the chemistry was definitely undeniable. Decades later, it remains one of the clearest examples of how a series can create something powerful without intending to.
You are beautiful.
And you are drugged.
Xena, Warrior Princess was marketed as an action-adventure series, but the relationship between Xena and Gabrielle became its emotional foundation. The bond grew deeper with each season, expressed through shared trauma, devotion, and moments of quiet understanding. The show often leaned into visual and narrative cues that mirrored romantic storytelling, even when it avoided explicit confirmation. For viewers, this wasn't subtle. It was a rare case where the emotional truth felt clear, even when the text stopped short.
Will you try for one moment to feel? At least act like you've got a heart.
Long before modern TV discourse, Star Trek created one of the most influential relationships in fandom history. Captain Kirk and Spock were written as colleagues and friends, but their bond was defined by trust, sacrifice, and emotional reliance. Spock's loyalty to Kirk often surpassed professional duty, and Kirk's concern for Spock went far beyond command protocol. This dynamic didn't just resonate with gay audiences, it helped to shape fan culture itself, laying the groundwork for decades of reinterpretation and discussion.
Eric, if this is all just a dream, why you look so worried?
Because I don't remember waking up. So tell me, how do you know? How do you know if you're still dreaming?
Teen Wolf arrived during the era of online fandoms, and the chemistry between Derek and Stiles was noticed immediately. Their scenes were driven by sharp dialogue, physical proximity, and emotional vulnerability. Even when the show paired each character with a canonical love interest, the connection between them often felt more developed and emotionally charged. The writers may not have planned it, but viewers responded strongly, making this one of the most discussed dynamics in the series.
Alright, fine. You know what? We'll both sit in the chair.
Hello, Dean. Cares. We've talked about this. Personal space.
Few TV relationships have been analyzed as closely as Dean Winchester and Castiel on Supernatural. Castiel's devotion to Dean was written as loyalty and faith, but over time it was framed with a level of emotional intimacy rarely given to platonic relationships on the show. Long looks, quiet conversations, and repeated sacrifices created an unmistakable tone. While the series began as a straightforward monster hunting drama, this relationship evolved into something that defined its later seasons, whether intended by the writers or not.
Get some sleep.
I love you so much.
The BBC's Merlin reframed the classic legend as a story about destiny and loyalty, but the heart of the series was a relationship between Merlin and Arthur. Their connection was defined by sacrifice, unspoken emotion, and repeated affirmations of trust. Much of the language used to describe their bond mirrored romantic storytelling, even as the show avoided labeling it as such. For many gay viewers, the emotional weight of the relationship became the defining element of the series. And for that reason, it is at the #1 spot of this list. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy a similar video to this one, my video that I did about the top 10 bromances in TV history. If you want to check that one out, you can watch it by clicking on the link that will be appearing on your screen in a moment. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a like and a subscription. Over 72% of my viewers aren't subscribed yet. And the easiest way to help my channel grow is to like and subscribe. I don't have hype for my channel yet, but as soon as it's available, I'll let you know. Once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.